Tonight I want to show you like 3 simple tips or tricks that I found out recently. First of all, how many of you use console log for debugging? Ah, perfect. Then probably you know this scenario, right? Where you put the name of the variable in front, just so you know in the console, like what does the data structure refer to, right? All of you do this, right? And you get all of this junk in your code. And I found out a very much easier solution to do this. So instead of logging the individual variables, you just log an object. And we use the shorthand definition for properties, right? And then we get something like this in the console. Magic. Right? You see the name of the property names are, yeah, you get it, huh? Right? Cool. When I saw this, I was wow. Okay, for those of you who don't use console log debugging, good job. I'll have some breakpoints, tips and tricks at the end. Also, yeah. Okay, this was the first tips trick. Okay, moving on to the second. Let's say you have an object and you want to remove one property from the object. So there are several ways to do this, right? We can have this approach, like you start from an empty object, you iterate through all the properties in your object. If the property is different than the property that you want to inject, like populate it in the newly created object, right? Come on, for loops, if statements, right? Imperative programming, 2018, right? We have functional programming, right? Much better, yeah. This is the second implementation. Really, really clean and easy. You convert your object to an array, right? And then you filter that array to exclude the property that you don't need. And then you reduce that array to an object because that's what you want to get at the end, right? An object. And it's much cleaner. You don't have any if statements, no explicit iteration, right? Functional programming, great. But is it? A lot of code to remove one property from your object, right? Very interesting solution. You can use this structuring to do this in a clever way. First, you take the property that you want to remove, and then you can collect all the other properties into a newly created object, and there it is, right? One-liner to remove property from an object. Really, really great idea. Also, you can use it with arrays to exclude like the first 2 elements and not splice or slice, or I don't know how is the those functions, or that want to remove the element from the beginning. Anyway, so you can use the structuring in many creative ways. Cool. The third one is about a bit of UI. So I created this website here. It's very awesome. And but as you may notice, something is happened to it. Like somebody broke it. I quit smoking like 1 year ago, so I don't know why this year. This may be caused by, I don't know, a friend of yours that want to make fun of you, or could be like a third-party script that you imported and does something, manipulates your DOM in an unexpected way, so you don't know where that is coming from. And Google Chrome DevTools gives us a very simple way to detect DOM manipulations, where they come from. Just go to the element that you see that gets manipulated, and you right-click, and you can break on, let's say, subtree modification, because in this case we have a change in text. Text is a subnode of my h1, so it's a subtree modification. So I can break on this subtree modification, and you can see here DOM breakpoints, and you can see the breakpoint here, like all the h1s, when the subtree is modified, it's going to break. And if I reload my code, I'm going to get at some point, okay, the debugger has paused, and I can see where it's coming from app.js, right? And I can see the exact line of code that manipulated this. You can also see here, you should see, I don't know exactly where, somewhere here. Yeah, DOM breakpoints, also H1. Okay, you can remove all the DOM breakpoints, and let's go and create another breakpoint. You saw that the image was also edited, right? But this time it was a attribute modification, and we can also break on attribute modifications or DOM removal or whatever you want to, right? Attribute modifications, same thing. We reload. You should see here the breakpoint, and once again it breaks your code exactly, telling you exactly where it happened. Cool. Please remind me at the end to discuss whether this works in frameworks. Okay, let's remove this. Now, another thing that you can break on, there are like 4 different types of breakpoints. Event listener breakpoints. Like if you have an event listener in your page, like a keyboard event or load event, whatever kind of a load event, or let's say you have a timer event, right? Set timeout. I have a set timeout, and I want to break on set timeout. This one automatically breaks on set timeout when it is executed, right? And it's very easy to detect like where things are coming from. Things that are a bit difficult to actually put the breakpoint in your code because you don't know exactly where that code is, right? Also, one very cool trick is that let's say that I have a function here that runs, and that okay, I want to continue with the set timeout and I don't want to break anymore. So let's say you have some fetch events happening, right? Are triggered by some script. You don't know exactly where the script is coming from. You can also go to, I don't know to where, to sources, and here you have the XHR fetch breakpoints. So you can break on any XHR, right? It's very easy to see where that is coming from. Again, also one cool trick is that I have here like a lot of code in order to obfuscate the domain that I'm requesting. So if you see in your console, for instance, that okay, this is requesting from samples open something, and you search in your code, you won't find it because the code is obfuscated. But using the Chrome DevTools, going to the sources and going to the, okay, let's pause. You can specify like a specific URL, right? Let's say that this contains weather, and I want to break on this one, and again it breaks. So it's very convenient to bypass like obfuscated codes, which you have no idea where is it coming from, in order to debug it. Yeah, that was it for me. If you have any questions, or if you know any other tricks, yeah.
I know one more way to debug code if you know where it is.
Okay.
Write debugger anywhere in the code.
Sorry, you can?
You can just write debugger anywhere in the code, and that will put a breakpoint there.
Oh, okay. But put the actual breakpoint in the code, so you have to
to
have the code. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes helpful.
Yeah, true.
Did you write that code, all of it?
No. Heck no.
The first bit, the name of the function specifically.
The what? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're referring to yourself in the third person.
No, yeah. Somebody else wrote it. A different me. Yeah. So as yeah, please. Yeah.
So from the remove from object, would there be any difference from what you did and just deleting the object?
To use the delete operator.
One is immutable.
Why would you do delete?
Yeah, delete doesn't work on freezed object, for instance. So there are some limitations to using delete.
Why would you freeze an object?
Also, it's
Whenever yeah, you don't want to, because yeah, exactly. It updates, it mutates the object.
No, that might be fine. In some cases, it might be wrong.
Yeah.
In most cases, it's wrong.
It's like immutable. This is immutable.
It's wrong. Don't do it.
So it always remind you how it went to debug inside frameworks?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. I tried in all frameworks, it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work is because all the frameworks batch the UI updates in order to do the minimal amount of work, and those batched updates are executed asynchronously. So whenever you are modifying some, or trigger an update in your application code, right? That application code is put on the stack. The call stack then gets cleared, and then at some later point, but very briefly, a very brief later point, the batched update gets pushed into the call stack and executed. So whenever you have when you break on the DOM update, that it's happening in the batched updates, and then you don't have the whichever triggered that update from your application code that is not in the call stack anymore, so you cannot see it. Yeah.
For the console log files, you could mention there are also console table, console sub, console group.
Oh yeah. There are like a lot of consoles. Yeah.
Console
yeah, it's in the documentation. It's crazy. Yeah, what you can do.
Don't need to break
Exactly. Yeah, you have a lot of time, and yeah, it's awesome. And also, I was for instance, I worked also with Redux and MobX, and just a side note. For instance, MobX executes the state updates synchronously in comparison to set state from React, which is asynchronous. So I thought, okay, if I have a MobX in my side application, I could see where the DOM updates come from, but of course not, because only the store updates are synchronous, not the UI updates that React performs underneath, which is also a set state call, which is asynchronous, so you don't get anything. I tried it in Vue.js application, Angular, Knockout, like Ember, like everything, all of them.
There's no async check mark in the debug tools, and that had all. So there's a little thing you can toggle async stack traces.
Yeah, where? Where?
Oh, there used to be one. You make the thing bigger a little bit.
Sure. Whoa.
Not that much. No, just make the thing wider.
Which one?
That one.
This one?
Yeah. But there used to be a button right up there in the corner. There isn't one anymore. Yeah.
No. I have no idea.
So I know there used to be a way to do async stack traces. Why isn't that anymore? I haven't noticed in a while. Alright.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can check out and let me know, or let us know. Okay, cool. So 4 kinds of breakpoints. Yeah, very convenient. Okay, guys. Thank you. If you don't have any more questions, and see you. I mean, you can stick around for some beers, like anytime. Thank you, guys.